Hello, everyone. So yesterday we spoke about design, and from our last class on Saturday, we spoke about. Okay, let me wear my glasses first of all because my eyes. So we spoke about design last week, and we said design, and we spoke about UI UX and the advantage of UI UX design to products and services. And today I will do a recap of yesterday's class. We had a class yesterday, and we spoke about all the buttons and all the features and tools you'll find inside Figma. So I will do a recap of all these things, and by the end of this class, we will design this. I already had this class yesterday, and this is some of the feedback I got. I'm really impressed with everyone's work. People were able to take this design, I mean my design, and the design I gave them, and create this fresh from the start. This is really impressive. Well done. Your designs are clean, and I love them. So I would start by explaining what you know UI UX is and talk about the tools. UI UX stands for user interface and user experience. User interface mostly deals with the color of the website, the field, the size, typography, and other things that has to do with the visuals of a website or a product. Then we have UX, user experience. It has to do with feelings. How do you feel about a product when you use it? Are you frustrated when you use a website or an app? Does it take you 3 or 4 clicks to achieve a goal when you're using an app? Who was the app made for? Why was the app made? What problem does it solve? What problem does the app have? This is what you look at in user experience. UI and UX they work hand in hand. So this class is just for about 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, if you're a newbie and you've not designed before, by the end of this 30 minutes class, you will be able to design this just like many other people have done. It's not difficult, it's what you can do. So I would start by explaining some of this once again faster. But you could always go back and watch other videos that I've made to understand all these tools. So let us start. So I said when you get into your page, this is what they call your canvas. And to scroll in and out of your canvas, you press the mouse wheel and you hold control plus mouse wheel to um, zoom in and out of your design. Then shift plus control plus mouse wheel up. I mean, shift plus mouse wheel up and shift plus mouse wheel down to move left and right in your canvas. So let's move now and let's talk about all these tools carefully before we go back to design this. First of all, we have the frame tool. When you click on the frame tool, you can either select it here or you press F on your computer. It shows you a set of preset sizes. When you're designing for mobile phones, you can choose any of these sizes to design with them. The iPhone 13, iPhone Pro, iPhone Mini, you click on all these ones, it gets you the shape of an iPhone, the length and the width. So it's now inside there. You design your interfaces and you design all the things you want to design inside Figma. So under it we have the splice tool. This is a knife. You can use it to cut shapes and things. I do not use this particular tool, you know. Then we have the rectangle tool to draw your squares and your shape. So to draw a rectangle that has equal sides, you hold shift plus left click and drag. Then by your right hand side on your design, we have the properties layer panel. The properties panel on the right hand side here is what you use to change the properties of this particular figure. For example, the width is 355 and the height is 355. And this is a link button, the constraint proportion. If I unlink this, I can do a width of 500. You see what happens when you do this? I can change this independently. But when it is linked, both sides are the same. Make both sides the same. This won't work now. So you have to unlink first of all, then go back and link like this. Then from here you can start to link yourself and okay, let me do that again. You link back, then you do 400. Then you have equal size on both of this. Next, we have the line. The line and the arrow work in the same manner. The line you just hold and you drag left and right. Okay, let me change the color so you can see it better. So this is the line tool. You can also change the properties here by changing the stroke color to red, and you zoom in. This is what you have a line. Next, we have the arrow. If you've already learned this yesterday, you can just skip for to 10 minutes in front forward, and you can learn to do this. You can move to the tutorial video if you know this already. We have the arrow, and the arrow can also be altered from here. You can decide to change the front of the arrow, the tip of the arrow, to a circle edge. You can also change the bottom of the arrow to a circle edge, circle bottom. This is arrow, and out is arrow. To make the arrows dash, you come here, you click on this three dots by the side, and you change this to dash. And you can alter this value from 6 to 9, 20. This is how to alter it. And this is an eye you can close, turn off and turn on. Basically, you can also do the same here too. You can padlock an element so you do not move around on your screen. And next we have the ellipse tool. I told you to draw a shape of equal sides. You have to hold shift and left click and drag. Then you have an ellipse of equal sides. This is also the properties panel. The stroke here gives it a stroke like you want. If you want it to have this stroke, then you can change the properties and put the stroke outside the circle or inside the circle or at the center of the circle, the line of the arrow. Also change the properties. Then next I thought about fill. You can always fill, you can always remove. Then you can always do this, and you can have a shape like this to create arcs and pie charts. Next, we have the polygon. Polygon will give you three sides. Hold your shift and your right click, I mean your left click. Then you have a polygon of three sides. Then on this side here, you find you can change the size of the polygon depending how you want it. You can enter your value manually, or you can just drag nine-sided polygon. You can also give a stroke. Then we have the effect tool under. Click on the effect tool. You can give the shadow. You can give it a 4 x-axis, and you can create a blur. Now it looks like the shadow is floating, right? That's how to use this particular tool. Next, we have the star. I said you can hold shift and you drag and you have a star. You can increase the size of your star to 6, 7, 8, 10, 13. Then you can always, alter this to change the size of the star. You can, yeah, and you can also use this one to give the curve, to change the curve. Yes. So next we have the place image. If you want to place an image inside this shape, you can always use this particular tool. I said yesterday, you can click on it here. You can come to the fill here. You click inside this box, and you choose image. Then you select an image from your computer, and you can always just select or import any item, any image into your design with this tool. So give some time. So clearly, this is how to import images. So that's that. So next thing we have the pen tool. This is for drawing shapes and lines. You can draw odd shapes, and um, when you need to draw a graph, you can use this tool. By the time you connect all the nodes, NODE, together, you can create a shape and a regular shape. Then you can give the fill and also alter the color and the properties of the fill. You can remove this to move the border. That's the pen tool. Then we also have the pencil tool. You can draw scribbles, you know, with this tool. It's very, very useful that way. Next, we have the text tool. The text tool is for writing text on the design. Restaurant. Scroll in. with control plus mouse wheel in to scroll in. I will do 24, 24 of my text here, and I can bring it in here. I can change the boundaries of this into 24 also, and I can just drag like this. I also want to teach you how to duplicate items. You can create this shape now and you can just duplicate fast as possible. This is how I duplicate items. I duplicate. So to do that, you have to press Alt, and left click and drag. This is how to duplicate items fast. Or you can just select your item and press Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D. Ctrl D on the element you want, you duplicate the item into multiple elements that you as many as you want for your design. Then if you press K on your computer, you can always reduce the size of an element into something small. You press K and you choose, or you go here and instead of move, you click on scale. So that's how to do this. You can always just you've probably all used apps that have this kind of features before. This is how the designers for those companies that create the product you're using, how they go about it. Next thing, we've learned text. But now what happens when you have multiple text and hundred of text? You just do I am a designer, I'll copy, full stop, paste, 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 paste. Now, when you have multiple text like this and the text are all scribbled together, you can change properties here and choose from poppins. You can choose Potter Sand Block. You can choose any type of text you want. And on this one, you can see this A between two lines. You can alter the height of the text. And with this next one here, you can alter the space between each letters of the text. Now, this is how to use it. Now, when you have this border, this blue border you are seeing around the text, I'm coming, I will show it to you now. When you see this border showing around the text, you can always just, if you have something like this, where the text is, is spanning, this is not good. With all these blue lines showing at the bottom, you can always click on this to auto height. And sometimes when this box the is spanning too much, always just click on this to hug the content. So the next thing you might want to learn is how to use the shape tool. The shape tool. So if you have a rectangle and a polygon, let's do a four-sided polygon, a five-sided polygon. Let's assume we want to add it together here. How do we do that? How do we make it a single element? First of all, you can select your items together by dragging, left click, drag up, or drag down anyway, and just press Ctrl plus G to group together. Now you can look here and see it's a group. You can find the polygon and the rectangle. They are now a group, and you can make them a single entity by moving them around. But we would ungroup by right clicking and press ungroup here, and that way they are separated. Now at the top here, when you select the two items, you can always mask. Leave. Forget about this tool. If you're a beginner, you might want to just keep the component tool and the marks tool. I will explain some other time. And this is the Boolean group. You can create a union out of these two shapes. Let me go back and let's change the color of this item into something else. Let's do this and let's do this. You can select the two and you can just group. This is what happens when you group. Control plus Z to undo. This is what happens when you subtract. You can see the one on top is subtracted from the one at the bottom. Control plus Z to undo. And next thing we have to intersect. This is what happens when you intersect. Control Z. then um, exclude. This is what happens when you exclude. You might need all these tools if you decide to do your own icons yourself in the future or create illustrations. You might find them very, very useful. Um, I believe with what in the next thing is the widget tool. It's a new feature, but I will not talk about it now. But mostly to just find your resources, your components. Components is a topic for another day. And your plugins, these are my plugins that visually your widgets. Just forget about it for now. You can explore on your own. And we have the ant tool. The ant tool is just to move around your design. And we have the comment tool. I can comment and say, nice work. That's what it's for. So to go back, I will just press V to change back to the move tool. This is the move tool. It's what helps me move around and move. So in this tutorial today, we'll be talking about how to create this design afresh or this design. So to create this design, we click on frames or you press F on your computer. You close this and choose desktop. You choose the desktop, which is regular for laptop sizes. This is for MacBook, but I would prefer you use the desktop. I'll click on that and then it gives me this shape. I would change back to a darker color so you can all see what I am doing. So we select our shape and we choose the desktop. Again, let me go over it. You choose your frame or F on your computer. You select desktop. We'll be using desktop. And yesterday in the class, I didn't teach us something, and I will teach it today. It's called columns and grid. So many times when we design, and we're going to hand over our designs to the developer or the people who code it, the front end designer, the front end and developers, we have to they design using what they call flexbox and grids, and layouts like that. So for a designer to choose consistent layouts across their design, we have to design using columns and grids. Most times in the future, you would learn what they call 8 point grid. 8 point grid is what we will be using in the future to design our apps and many of the things we do. You have noticed that when I design and when I've been designing, and if you watch other videos I've made, you would see that every of my calculation I do them in the multiple of eight, especially text and spacing between elements. I do 8 point grid. But for now, I'll just simply talk about columns. So to create a column, a grid would select your desktop frame. You can see it here, it's selected. And we will go to layout grid. You click on it. Now you scroll closer, and if you open this, you'll see that this is an 10 point grid. What this means is that the space between these two boxes, this box and this box, is 10 points. Between this space and this space is 10 points. But I'll change to 8 points. And also manually change it from the settings of your Figma account, personally, and have it that way. But today we won't be using 8 point grid for this desktop. We'll be using columns. So you click here and you select the column. You can see it has spaced everything out. And I'll be using 12 columns. And I will make sure my left and right is, and my margin is the edge of this screen or this design. I'll give it 120. Some people use 100, some people use 80, some people use. If you go on websites and you look at the website, you'll notice that the website does not span from left to right, especially when you're doing a website. So for now, let us use 100 for this design. You can always change the color to fit anything you want. You can stretch, you can change the gutter to 24. 24 is a multiple of 8, so let's use 24, that's fine. So next thing in this design, I splitted this into half. So I'll press R to choose my rectangle, and I'll draw my rectangle here, and I'll drag. I'm not holding my shift now because I do not need to draw. I'm not drawing equal sides. Then I would change the color to blue, And next we have the circle here. I will draw my circle by pressing O, or I will simply just come to the top here and click on ellipse, or I will press O. Then I will draw my circle holding shift, then give my circle a color. I would use this color I used before, and I will drag it here. Make it smaller a bit. Now, in the original design, there's this effect, this blurry effect here you're seeing on half of the screen. I do not know how this person did it, but congratulations, you've done a good job. I will now create mine. And to create it, I would simply just press a rectangle and create my own shape. And I will turn off my grid here. Then I would select this and make it white. Then I'll come to solid and click gradient. I'll go to effect and I would choose layer blur and I would choose 400. No, sorry, sorry, it's not layer blur, it's background blur actually. But I'm not done here. I should have gone back here. So I need to come back here and I need to change this to this is mostly zero and this is here and I would change the value of this one to zero and the value here to 43. And I could always just change the shape and change the shape height. Let's see what it did. I could simply make this and now alter the values of this part and put 24, 24. Then come back to the I could always alter this and you see it looks very, very glassy. I'll now give it a background flow of 400. Okay, not working. Okay, it gets weird. It's so embarrassing already. 100. Mm. For now, I will just leave this like this. Focus on more serious business. I'll come back here and turn back my grid. I would click on this and create my welcome back text. I'll just copy this and click on T for text. And I'll Ctrl V to paste it. Okay, still pasting. Just I can just press T and just drag. Oh my god. Anyways, I will just wait. You know what? I would just, while I don't know why this is showing here, I will just go on and create my text. I'll write welcome back. And I'm using Poppins typography. I will increase the size to let's say 48. Like okay, so I'll turn this back on and come here and I will do 32 instead. No, 32 seems to be too small. This is a multiple of 8 anyways. 48. Let me do 48 or 40. 40 and let's put it here. And we have this, logo. This is our logo. So just put our logo on the same grid line. And just want to say Peter Design. So I would just draw a shape and make this color. So okay, I don't know if you've noticed that my gradient looks better because the more I went on this scale of from the original color, the more I got closer to getting you know my glass morphism looked like the original design, but I think it's actually really really awesome in this color. I'll just stick to this and turn back my grid to make sure that my Peter design logo just this here. I could just put it here and make it small. 24 logo should be small on the site. It should just take about 1% of website's real estate. Next, we have the text that says "Welcome back." Please enter. We can just write it here. Text. I would drag. Say "Welcome back." Please enter your details. Is that what I have here? Yeah, this doesn't look like. It makes sense. Enter details. I'll just increase the height and do 16. Change this font weight to this. Okay, that seems too small. I will do regular. And you can see that the text is underneath. If you've used Microsoft Word before, you should know how to, adjust your text based on all these properties. And I'll just do this. Then I'll change this, the hierarchy with this. So there are very different ways to change hierarchies of objects. You can use color, you can use weight, and to give depth to your text. So let's just do this too. Next, we have the email text and the field. So we'll draw a rectangle and we'll drag it from left to right. Let's drag it to this side. Now, this is why I said you should learn to use layouts. So give it a stroke and we remove the fill. We give it a border radius of 8. Change opacity to something close, something light. Then we have the email text here. So we'll say email. Now you can see that this email has a border around it that shows that it's a text property. We can do like this and just manually drag. Or instead, we can just simply just come here, click on this, and it's control. It's still so large. We do this also. So it's a bit darker. So we just go down a bit, and it's on the same line. Next thing, you can duplicate. You can press Control D to duplicate the text, and just you know Control D to duplicate. No, it's not duplicating, but I'll use Alt plus drag, left click drag. Now I'll come here and I'll say, please enter your email address. I'll use the same color I used there. I can just copy, select all, and Control plus C to copy this. And I'll come here and I'll go back to I'll click on 14 and I'll just enter the value. I do not know why I'm having this. Oh, okay, I think I get it now. I'll just Control or paste this. So now we can select these two by holding Shift When you hold shift, you can select these two items together. You're holding the two together. Then I'll press Control plus G to group it together. Then I can now hold this one and hold this two. Now this particular one has become one entity because I have grouped them together. As you can see here, I can even rename, double click to rename. Then you can say email input field. Designers always rename their tabs. Sometimes I don't rename my tab, but you could always rename my tab. Then email plus I click on shift to hold email. I click on shift and right left click to select. Then I am still holding shift and I select this one. So now I've selected these two items already, as you can see here. Then I'll press Control B to group again. You can now rename and say email. You can hurry here, you can always see everything that goes on here. And because of the sake of speed, and I want to duplicate this area fast, I'll just Alt, click on Alt, and drag down. So now you can see that when you hold Alt and you over your mouse on an element next, you can see the distance between your elements. This is 46. So in design, this is what we call white space. And to create clean designs, you must know how to balance white space properly and give your design enough white space for your design to breathe. Yes, let it breathe. So now we can always just come here and just click on this and paste in the word password. If I'm not too fast, you can always ask me a question later and you can say, please enter your password. And that has been done fast. Now we could always still go further to create this checkbox and remember in 30 days. I will just duplicate from my design and just control copy, just simply drag it because I mean I still have this here. This is probably an error from Figma, and I'll just bring it here and just change the value of this to 10, and also control copy. You know, it's easy to make text, so you could just always come here and you just put it here. So you see that I'll put 14 for forget password. You'll see that allowing your elements to be in a grid or a column helps you design consistently. This is the secret to becoming a designer, a good designer fast. You can look at the space here. You can press up on your computer up to move closer and check the space. I want to give it 32 space. I'm holding Alt and I am hovering my mouse on the nearest element to see the space between. I just move up and down should be on your right hand side if you're using a Windows. I don't know what MacBooks are like. I mean, if they don't mind me. Then I'll move this to the top also, and move this to the same line. Don't forget alignment is very important. You can always use a ruler instead also, and just drag a ruler to the top here. Drag a ruler here, and drag a ruler everywhere in your design. You know, in case you are doing something like that has like multiple fields here, you use a ruler that way. So yeah, this is how to use your ruler. So next is to create the button, our large button, our sign up button, sign in button. So we could just always just draw with and just draw this and just give it 80 and just select the color we are using and just do this and just you can duplicate fast. That's what I do, and I'll do 20 for the button and do change the color to white. So you see that the shape is beneath this particular rectangle. You could just right click and click on bring to the front. You can always see these two layers. This is you could just do button. And, you know, you can always just alter like this. Drag to the bottom, you have it on the bottom. Drag to the top, it comes on top of the text. This is the layers panel, as I've said before. Always change property here to 8. Now there's something you want to learn. Imagine if I have the text here, it's not centered, it looks off. So I could select it and hold control, I mean shift and hold shift. I selected these two items. Now to make it centered in a speedy way, I just come to the top here to my alignment tools and I click on this, it centers. Right, it centers to the right. Left, top, top, you know, middle, but then we want it to be in the center. So that's its center. So we can always just group Control plus G to group. Control plus G. For the sake of speed, I would also duplicate here now and ungroup and do sign in with Google. Then I would change the background and add a stroke, remove the fill. Yeah, the text has changed, result is white. Then I could always just do this. I could do this instead. So we're not done yet. We would add our Google icon. So to add a new icon on your computer, I could just click on this and go to plugins and go to save plugins. I have a lot of plugins anyways. And you could go to okay, this is weird. Find more plugins rather. If you can find more plugins, it's take you to a market where you find plugins. So what the plugins we want to find out is called Iconify. So when you get to the plugins to find more plugins and it takes you to the page, you'll find and search for Iconify plugin. So I will run Iconify plugin now. You run it and you search for Google. I searched for it recently and I just either I drag out and I close. Now I want my Google icon to be smaller than 48 pixels width and height. I just link and I change it to 32 pixels. I drag it into this place. I can now group. I select with shift, then I over on the icon and I select with shift again. So I can select these two together. Then I can now group and do Control G to group the two together. I'll bring it here to the center, or I just use this one. Or sometimes you see that this thing helps you find the center of these two elements and you control group again. Next thing we have the let's come here and look at how our friend did it. Don't have an account, sign up. You can just don't have an account, sign up, exclamation mark. Now take this text and drag it here. We drag and just bring it to the bottom. We change it from 18, 20 to 18. You might ask me why am I using 20 because 20 is a multiple of 8 or 18. There are times when you want to go smaller and you just want to break the rules. There are times when you can break the rules. Okay. And I'll go to black and I'll change this to light and I'll select the sign up text and increase to regular and change the color to this. So once you're done, you can see our design is really clean. You can just select the item. I can just click here to play. This is to share. You can share your design with anybody. Copy the link and send it to me. I can add the link to the file. You could just play. This is a prototype page. It shows you the prototype. So by be patient, we'll be able to see the prototype in some seconds from now. So let's wait. So let's go to prototype first of all and change settings. You can just click on prototype settings and just see that the device is shown to nothing. So if you're designing for a MacBook, like a mobile view, you can always just choose icon 13. But if you're not, you could just come here and just wait. The network is slow, so we have to just wait. So you just go back to design, inspect here are for developers. On the inspect tab, you can see the properties and the colors you use, position, relatives, width, background color, each of your elements. It shows you the colors used. These are for developers to find their CSS and iOS and Android. So here we will find the design here. So while this is loading to show us the actual design, you can see this is what we designed. You can come back here and you can scroll to the bottom to export your designs. So click on this and you can export the quality according to how you want. They want a lower quality or they want like this quality. I would believe or tell you to just do 2x. It's better to export in 2x. So once you've exported in 2x, now go back to the file or the exported design and now copy it and paste it back here. Then you come to your frame, go to social media and choose dribble shots. Then you'd have it like this. Let's assume I have imported this back. I would just have this. Then you scroll, hold it down and you bring it into this. Then you change the background. Don't forget to change the background so that people can understand. And this is how to present your design. Then you can just do this and just increase this. You can always just even give the style and just give it an effect and give the blower. And you can even just play around. I would rather play around like this and just you know like I would push to the back, hold shift and left bracket, curly bracket rather. Curly bracket is the one underneath your plus icon. I could just do this and just duplicate this shape and just take to the back, or you could just simply just do like this and just to the front to the back. So there you have it. Your design is ready. When you're now done, you can now come here again and you can export it. So I'll export it into X. It will save on my computer and I'll just save it. Login screen. Saved. So there you go. You can always just come here back and you can always just swipe between each of the modes to see your design. And this is how to design in Figma. I hope this would help everyone design well.